Not yet.
Perfect.
All right, you guys,
Goodness.
happy Monday. We don't usually do these on Mondays, but schedules were complicated, and I've been trying to track down Gio for 2 weeks since his first Ironman Florida. So, congratulations, Gio. First of all, introduce yourself and tell us what you do, how old you are, all the good stuff.
Hey everyone, my name is Gio Luciano, 25 years old. Right now, I'm a business analyst. I work in oil and energy right now. And yeah, as Aaron just said, I just completed my first full Ironman 2 weeks ago up in Panama City Beach.
Yeah, congratulations. We were just talking about he's going to get the Ironman tattoo and where that's going to go.
Yeah, of
Let's
course.
go. Yeah, let's go through the entire journey because I remember the very first time I met you was on a group ride. We were on a group ride, and I noticed that you really didn't know how to ride your bike.
No, I did not. I had all my training before that was on a trainer. I didn't do a lot of outdoor riding.
Yeah, and so when I found out your goal was Ironman Florida, I said, okay, we need to take some time here and really learn how to pedal, right?
Yeah.
The pedaling mechanics. Was that the same bike you have now, or is it a different bike?
Yeah, it was the same bike. It didn't have the aero bars on it though, because we had
Okay,
done
yeah,
the
it's a
conversion
road
later.
bike. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Coach Dennis retrofitted your road bike to be a tri bike, and we're
Yeah.
going to get into that because I did do think that it affected you in some ways negatively, but you were able to overcome it. But anyway,
Yeah.
so back to that first ride, we actually went live. You can go back on my Instagram; it's
Yeah.
live there when you said to me, and we kind of went over your bike and how what we needed to work on as far as making it fit you better, right?
Yeah.
Also how to write it and write it in a group and the benefits of writing in a group, even though of course you don't draft in the Ironman, you still need to acquire those skills. So when we spoke that first day and we wrote together that first day, you had the dream of doing an Ironman. Why did you want to do an Ironman?
I wanted to do an Ironman because first I know Coach Dennis, and then obviously Adriana's on the team as well, and they're married. And then I'm basically in their family, and I see them do all these races and stuff. And then at the time, I was fully remote for work
Right,
until most likely September. So I knew that if I wanted to do it, it had to be this year, and this is going to be the only year I'd be able to do it because of the
right.
time. And then so we
Well, wait,
started.
wait, meaning you because of you would not have as much free time to actually train enough.
Yes,
Okay.
because the whole obviously you waking up super early and then going to the office isn't the best, isn't the most enjoyable for a kid my age. But
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of 20 year olds, like they are stating the facts that Ironman is having, or triathlon in general is having a resurgence, and the
yeah,
highest age group of participants is between 20 and 29. And personally, in Full Circle Coaching, we've never had this many 20-year-olds as members. This year and last year, I think we've had like over 10 members that were in their 20s. And the reason being is just like you said, you guys are working harder, you're having, coming out of college and getting full-time jobs. And the commitment that it takes to do an Ironman is a lot, right? And the not going out at night, not partying, choosing to instead get to bed early so that you can wake up and train is a big difference from your friends, right?
yeah, a big huge difference. A lot of the nights telling my friends and stuff that I couldn't go, just
Yeah.
knowing that I had to wake up at 4 a.m. on Saturdays to go ride 100 miles. It is a
Yeah.
big commitment, but it is a rewarding commitment.
Okay, cool. I love it. So yeah, so we knew that you were in 100%. And what was that? What month was that first ride that we did? Because I thought it was like 6 months out that you had committed.
No, we did. I signed up like I joined the team 2 weeks before Clash. Clash is at the
Okay.
end of March.
Yeah, that's
Had
right.
a rode
So
a
yeah,
bike outside, had a triathlon in 2 weeks.
that's right. That's right. Okay,
Yeah.
so Clash Miami. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So Clash Miami, you had a good race. You got on the podium.
Yeah, I did.
That was pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. That was
So
really fun.
did that motivate you that you were like, okay, I love this sport and I want to keep going to all the way to Ironman?
Yeah, because I was like, at first, it's like obviously the whole, I think for most people my age that didn't swim in high school, it's the swim that scares a lot of people off from the sport.
Yeah,
And then you put a wetsuit on and you realize it's a lot easier than you think.
right.
And then, yeah, and then getting on the podium, I guess, was the biggest part. I guess that feeling of like obviously taking more than just obviously participating is a big part, but then obviously competing is the other part that I really enjoy. And that's
Yeah.
what I guess kind of I got that itch, and then that's when I was already thinking about doing Augusta, and then I was thinking about, okay, if I'm gonna do Augusta, I should do Florida too. And
Yes.
then I was just all in, and then I just bought into the training system, bought into your coaching, follow what you said, and then yeah, we got to now. But obviously,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
exactly.
steps along the way.
There were a lot of steps and there were struggles. I mean,
Yeah,
it's never a straight shot. I mean, that's why I recommend if anyone is desiring to do an Ironman, you need more than 6 months because there's going to be setbacks. And if you don't know how to figure out how to correct those setbacks will happen on race day. And you'll have a terrible day as opposed to how you did it. You had a great day, right?
yeah,
But Augusta wasn't a great day. And that was
no,
kind of your B race. That was your training race. And we're so happy that happened because it helped us work out all the cobwebs and all the negative stuff so that you could have a great day on your A race, which is the
yeah,
full Iron, right? But let's go back to swimming because that was definitely your biggest limiter. And what it took to overcome that limiter because it's not just swimming. And I think that's a big misnomer that people think just swimming makes you a better swimmer, but if you swim incorrectly, you actually become a worse swimmer,
yeah.
right?
I agree.
You'd agree, right?
Yeah,
Because you were going through the motions. I mean, you were moving through the water, but it wasn't pretty and it wasn't fast. So I remember your concern. We had already you came to group classes. I have a really early morning group class. So you were showing up. You were committed. You and the other guys that were your age that were all training together, which I tried to get live together, but we're going to go live with them soon. But you guys showed up, right? And that was when the transition started to take place in your swim. I mean, we did your testing, so we knew where you were per 100 at the beginning. Do you remember your first test, like how fast your 100 pace was?
my 100 pace because we tested the 200 and the 400. I think my 400 was. I think I was sitting around 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Yeah,
So no, I think it was definitely slower than that because I remember your first long open water swim, you were bummed out that it was like 2:30 in the open water,
yeah,
right? So I
yeah.
was like,
Because
don't worry. I'm like, we have 3 more months of open water swimming and you're going to be in a wetsuit because you weren't at the time. And you just slow and steadily built your confidence to get faster and faster in the swim. But you did show up to correct your technique. That's my point. You
yeah,
did the drills. You worked on the flexibility, right? Which was huge, right? In your ankles, in your hips, because that's where you need to kick from. And then your timing on the stroke mechanics, right? And then the more you showed up for class and the more you showed up and did your volume in the open water, that's where everything kind of falls together. Do you remember the day when you felt like you could swim? Like,
yes. I think probably on the second test that I did, when you have everything in your mind, putting your head down. Obviously, you don't want to use your arms too much. You kind of want to focus on pulling through the water and
yeah.
doing all of those different. You're just running the drills through your mind, but now it's just without any help, no paddles, no fins,
Right, you're in
and
flow. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
you
it's
took
just
your
flow
fins
state.
off. You didn't need your fins anymore, which fins are a great tool to help you get that ankle flexibility. But when you had that second test, which was about, we test every 6 to 8 weeks, and you saw the improvement in your time, were you
Yeah.
more motivated to keep showing up to swim and get better?
Yes, yes, that's what I think. That's why the test is so important. I think because as you see the progress, you just get more motivated to be now in 6 to 8 weeks. Now, can I do better than that time? And what
Exactly.
can I do in those 6 to 8 weeks to make sure that I do better?
Yeah, and then it all just, builds on it, right? Each test builds on itself, and then you get the volume. I'm a big fan of volume at the end of training for an Ironman, not at the beginning. Most Ironman triathletes train with lots of volume the entire journey, and in my opinion, you end up just getting burnt out, right?
Yeah.
We focus on speed and technique for your swim, your bike, and your run. Now, let's talk about your bike because it was not the ideal setup, but you're financially not in a position to buy a brand new tri bike, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
So, yeah, go ahead.
I had a bike. Basically, Dennis told me that the bike would work, and then me, I was like, okay, if I don't have to spend 3 grand on a bike, and this is gonna work perfectly fine for me.
Yeah.
I was 100% okay with the bike that I had.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. He did a great job. He
Yeah.
always does a great job fitting you specifically to the bike and making it as aerodynamic and in a tri position, even though it is a road bike, as possible. But he worked on it a lot and with you, right, to
Yeah.
making sure that you were, one with your bike, which is so, so, so important. And you committed to those long rides. I mean, you guys how many 100-mile bike rides did you get in?
I think we had a lot of we maybe had 5 centuries, and then obviously we have that full 112, and then a lot of 80 plus rides, a lot of 4.5 hour rides where we're not going for distance, but it's more so like just time in the seat.
Yep. And that's my prescription, right? So that you are out there and you're doing what you can aerobically so that you can then deliver your run, right? So spending time in the saddle. How was that first 100-mile bike ride? Because that's usually not the best one, right?
Yeah, you feel excited for it until you realize how long 100 miles does take.
Right.
And 5, 6 hours on the bike to do 100, it's tiring. You're out there in this Miami heat for most of the time. At least
Yeah.
that's you're heat acclimated, but you are in that seat for a really long time.
Yeah, and the first time you're like, what the hell am I
Yeah.
doing? What
Yeah.
did I sign up for, right? But it's
Yeah.
so cool how the body adapts, right?
Yeah.
With the repetition. And don't get me wrong, you're doing intervals, hard intervals on the Thursday rides or bridge repeats or whatever we had going for your training program on. And then Tuesday night we had the live Zoom call, right, with the bike ride. So between all of those trainings on the bike, you guys just got stronger and stronger and stronger. And so many triathletes also don't believe in the benefit of a group riding, right? So the group ride for me, for you, is about getting endurance, keeping a lower heart rate, and also having fun. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're only out there by yourself doing 100 miles all the time, it can be kind of lonely and boring. And the benefit of the group is you get to go farther faster without burning as
Yeah.
much matches so that you can run off the bike and then do your long run the next day, right? So it's very
Yeah.
helpful as far as the training program. But of course, we did have you do solo or not drafting long rides as well, right? Did you
Yeah.
feel the benefit of that?
Yeah, it's a good mix. When you're doing those long hundreds in the beginning, obviously with the group it's easier because you're talking, and then you just have other people on the same goal as you. That there's a bunch of other people probably doing 100 that day, and then you're
Yeah,
all just trying to grind together. And then you have those solo rides where like, okay, I have to simulate race day because I'm not gonna have this on race day.
exactly.
You might,
Drafting is illegal. Yes, on
yeah,
race.
yeah, you might talk a couple times when you're passing somebody or someone's passing you, they're asking you where you're from or where they're from, but that's about it. You don't talk too much on race day on the
Yeah.
bike. And
And the big thing I feel like for you was nutrition. Really, really dialing that you had to eat way more than you thought you did to
yeah,
be able to feel good during those 100-mile bike rides. And it was not a smooth journey.
yeah,
You tested a lot of different things, and some days you came up and you're like, that was a terrible nutrition day. And then other days you're like, okay, I'm figuring it out, right? Why don't you
yeah.
talk about your nutrition a little bit?
Yeah, so we'll start with what I started with. And this is I guess advice. The cheaper nutrition is not always the better nutrition. It's good to, invest in more organic nutrition. I was using this brand, Gatorade Endurance, which is basically sugar in a tub. But to me, the story about how I use that is that I have like 48 tubs of that for free from some event I worked. I still
Oh
have it in
my
my
God.
house.
I did not
So,
know that. That's
so I
hilarious.
was using that, and then I didn't know how nutrition worked. They just told me 100 grams of carbs an hour. So I was just putting 5 scoops of that in a bottle, and it was basically like syrup. And I wasn't eating any gels. And
Yeah.
then I'd get off the bike, and I looked like I was in my third trimester from the bloating that I had, because that stuff does not come out. And then we switched over to Vitargo and gels, which helped a lot because now the water actually tasted more like water than just syrup. And then the gels, obviously, gels are easy to take down if you wash them down with some of the bottle that you have. And then
Yeah.
working different gels, which gels sit better, obviously, because you're on a bike for 5, 6 hours. You got to make sure that you don't have any bathroom emergencies that could cost you time if you're racing for time. And then, yeah, that combination. And then obviously speaking to you about different dilutions, which electrolytes to start taking on the bike to help
Yeah.
not cramp when you get off the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a whole journey in itself. That's another element of just racing is nutrition.
Yeah, and that's another huge thing that people don't realize, that it takes time to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
You don't just wing it the first time and hope it works out. You got to figure out your personal recipe for your stomach, your gut that can absorb it, and also what you like and what tastes good, and also your health, right? So, yeah, I mean, you can do all the toxic stuff for a short period of time, but even the pros are getting sick from their toxic nutrition, right? They're getting adrenal fatigue and just overdoing so much of the highly processed sugars that it affects your health, right? So that's what we wanted to avoid. So I really appreciate that you took the time to figure out what worked for you because you were tired of having that third trimester bloating. And it worked, right? So, let's go to the run, and then we're going to talk about Augusta and then Ironman Florida. So your run, we also improved a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah. So let's talk about your run. Like you knew how to run. I mean, just basically run. Did you have any running background from like high school sports or anything like that?
No, no, no. All my sports in high school weren't really running based. They're more like just, I guess, technique based.
Okay.
But yeah, I started running this year. I started doing all three sports this year. There
Oh,
was
really?
no,
Everything was brand new.
yeah, there was no background really in any of that. And then, yeah, running
That's
at first,
huge.
yeah,
That is
with no
so
coach.
huge to do a sub 13-hour full Ironman with zero swim, bike, or run before this year. Gio, that is freaking amazing. You really need to own that. That is so, so awesome. Really, really
Thank
proud of you.
you.
Anyway, okay. I didn't even know that was your first time doing everything. Okay, cool. So let's talk about the run because, of course, we tested on the run. We
Yeah.
videotaped you. I showed you all the things that maybe needed correcting. You didn't go my way with the shoes, but your technique definitely improved, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember
A
your
lot.
first run test, the time?
Yeah, I think it was like 7:05. I was overstriding. I looked like I was galloping.
Yeah, you're a big guy. How tall are you?
I'm like 5'11", six
You're
foot.
5'11". Yeah, I mean, but you have a really long stride, right? So we kind of
Yeah.
had to rein that in so you wouldn't waste so much energy while you were running. And then do you remember your last run test? I know we got into the sixes.
Yeah, I went 7:10 first one, and then I think I went like 6:30.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
a good 40 seconds off. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. But of course you were training for Ironman, so we didn't go
Yeah.
crazy trying to
Yeah.
get faster for the 1 mile, but it was just all about making sure your technique was good for the endurance, right? So and then that you had that enough energy off the bike to do a good solid run.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Augusta because that was like your B race, and we were all there supporting you. It was actually a great weekend. We had like I don't think we had like over 10 people racing. So it was awesome to have the whole team there and the support and you kind of got the Ironman buzz, like as far as
Yeah.
the brand, right? Did you have
Yeah.
time while you were there?
Yeah, it was a fun time. I mean, the village and everything, everyone, and also everyone in the town is there just for that event. So it's
Yes.
like you see everybody like just locked in and then just
Yeah.
having fun. And then the whole city comes out, everyone's supporting you while you're racing. It's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the race because the swim, of course, is super fast and you weren't able to get in the water to warm up. But how did you do on the swim?
Swim was really good. It's obviously downriver, so you start seeing some numbers you've never seen before. My watch laps every 500, and I started seeing like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and I was like, wow, we're almost done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then sometimes the current is so strong that when you turn to exit, it pulls you farther. The swim is fun.
Yeah.
If anyone's doing the first 70.3, Augusta is a really good one for
Yeah,
swimming.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. The swim is awesome. So you had a great swim. I saw you come out, you big smile on your face, and then you hit the bike. And then tell us a little bit what happened. So it's very hilly. There are some really long climbs. They've changed that course like so many times, but they've pretty much said that this is going to be the way it is for the next 5 years. So that's actually really good information.
Yeah,
Because you can kind of plan your training accordingly, which we did lots of bridge repeats to help you guys get strong and lots of strength training to help those legs be strong on the climbs, but they were longer than anything you had trained on here, right?
yeah, super long.
Yeah. So how did
So
you feel when you started to see those climbs and feel the climbs? Were you able to control yourself? Because you don't use power, you didn't invest in a power meter, and you were just using heart rate and
yeah.
effort, right? So how did that go for you?
Yeah, so we started, and then you're obviously coming out of the city, and then it's at the beginning, it's like highway, like similar to the Miami Bridge, those type of styles. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is just how it's going to be the whole race, and then it's not. You see the first climb,
Yeah.
and then it's like super foggy, so it looks kind of scary. And then everyone's like piling up, obviously uphill because that's
Blowing
just
up.
going to happen naturally
Yeah.
in an uphill race with a fast swim. Everyone's kind of grouped together, and then that first climb you feel good, and then you start seeing all these long climbs, and then a lot of false flats too where you think it's flat but you look down and you're going like 14 miles an hour, and because
Yeah.
it's just a steady incline.
Yeah.
And
And so how did
then
that affect your legs for, the whole 56 miles? I know you had your nutrition and it didn't work out that day, right?
no, my nutrition didn't work out. I also think it was a issue with riding an arrow for so long, going uphill, which is not smart because my back was hurting so much when I got off of the bike.
Yeah.
Because in Miami, I'm so used to just going arrow uphill up the bridge, but that's obviously like a 2 minute climb versus now you have these 10, 12 minute climbs.
Yeah, in your
And
aero bars. So yeah,
in
you were
there,
basically using muscles you had never used before for that aero position uphill for 10 minutes, right? And so it
yeah,
negatively affected your back, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So then,
yeah,
go ahead.
I saw you on that first mile of the run and I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, it was bad. I was cramping in my back. I never had cramped in my back before. My quads were cramping, and it was just a battle that whole run. And the run is also hilly now.
Yeah, it's rolling hills on the run. It's not a flat run course through the city anymore. So the one thing that was a success is that you finished. You didn't throw in
Yeah.
the towel. You didn't let the pain overcome you. Did you stop and stretch? Like, how did you manage everything?
I just when I tried to run as for as long as possible, then my cramps come back. So then I'd try to walk them out, and then it was just like a constant walk, run, walk, run, walk, run, and then just run is like what my legs could do because my
Yeah,
legs were also when you're cramping so much, your legs just get super tired.
right, right. And then nutrition wise, were you bloated on that day? Were you still using Gatorade at that point, or had you
No,
come?
no, no. We were on Vitargo, but the nutrition was fine. It was just, I guess, the bike ride really just the way I was riding bike was just not optimal for that run.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so you were pretty bummed.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed. I was not even happy.
Yeah, yeah. You were expecting like a 5.5, 5:45 half Ironman, and what did you come in at?
At like 6:20, and then when I got off the bike, it hadn't hit me. The cramps hadn't hit me at first until I started running. So I came off the bike with enough time to meet that goal from
Mhm.
my previous runs, and then the cramps in the back started heading just
Yeah.
settling in.
Yeah, and it's hard because the other two guys that you trained with did hit those numbers and you should have been right there with them. So, how did that mentally affect you moving forward?
Moving forward, I just knew like at least take away the pros from the race. Like the swim felt good. The bike, obviously, now if there's any hills, just sit upright into your bars, and then
Yeah.
taking in more salt, taking in just more nutrition overall, better nutrition, making sure that I'm not trying to catch up with the
Yeah.
timing the nutrition right, and
Yeah.
then just racing my race, not focusing really on anybody else.
There you go.
And
That's it.
then I
Because you
think it
can't
helped me a lot.
Yeah, yeah, you can't compare yourself to anybody else because they're completely different human beings. They have different backgrounds. Eddie had been training a little bit longer than, you and Carlos. So there was a lot of factors there that you really couldn't compare, even though in training you guys were all pretty similar. And then you had that setback with the bike position and the climbing, right?
Yeah,
So I was actually kind of not happy that you had a bad race, but it wasn't terrible. Like
yeah,
it wasn't like an 8 hour and you were hoping
yeah,
for six, you know what I mean? You pushed through, you didn't give up, you were mentally strong, but we kind of just needed to help you. It kind of helped you say, okay, I have to do what I need to do to
yeah.
prepare for the full. And that's what you did. And I will tell you, I was so proud of you because you were hitting all your open water swims. In some cases, not with the rest of the group, just by yourself or you with Richard or whatever the case is. You were hitting those long rides, you were hitting those long runs, and you decided, I'm going to do this for me
Yeah.
and I'm going to set my goal for myself and not compare myself or try to beat somebody else, right?
Yeah.
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 I
And that
feel like
helps a lot during the full. Just racing your race because obviously full's a lot more people. Obviously, there's
it's a
different
lot
bikes out
longer.
there. Different bikes out there. There's people that are trying to actually like go out here and try to qualify for Kona, which is the qualifying race at Florida.
Yeah.
So just like enjoying everything. There's a lot of people there also in fulls and halves that you have to remember that there's people that their only goal is to finish.
Right.
And that just helps you like you see all these I guess higher age groupers and it kind of inspires you to just keep going like why am I going to bum myself out this guy's probably 60, 70, and he's out here doing the same race that I'm doing and it's just like kind of inspiring. It helps you like I took that into the full and it helped a lot reach my time goal in the full, just
Yeah.
racing my race and just taking it all in because this is a full Ironman. This is
Yeah.
a lot of people there have probably been training for like a year, 2 year, like this is their goal, and then why not enjoy it the same way for me?
Exactly. Like be present in the present moment and
Yeah,
enjoy each aspect of it. Have the goal. You still had goals for the swim, the bike, and the run, But because I feel like you had such a more laid back attitude towards it, you were able to hit your exact
Yeah.
target, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, we have it on video and you pretty much came in at exactly that time. So let's go through the actual race itself. So the swim, you guys, honestly, it was perfect conditions. The whole race, the day of Ironman Florida was, you couldn't ask for any better weather as far as temperature and the swim. So let's talk
Yeah.
about the swim. How'd the swim go?
Swim was good. Race morning obviously is all hectic and stuff, and you're kind of all jacked up. And then, so funny story. Me and Carlos are like we're kind of running late to the swim, so we missed like the hype speech and stuff that you see like on Instagram and TikTok. We didn't get that. And then so we walk in, and then they while we're walking in, they already pull the cannon. So there's people already going in the water, and then we're trying to find which group we get in. And then we line up in the back of 120 to 130, which is exactly where we thought we were going to end up.
Right.
And then we start swimming, and the water feels good.
It's
And then,
warmer. It was warmer than the air, right?
yeah, and then you're swimming, and then you're obviously swimming with so many people that you're not thinking about how long you're going to be in the water for. It just makes time go by so much faster when you're swimming with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And then there was not any,
Wetsuit legal. You were in your wetsuit.
yeah, wetsuit helps a lot. There obviously at the turns is when it gets crowded a bit because everyone's turning sharp, and then
Yeah.
that felt good. And then I finished that first lap right on pace to probably PR the swim. So I
Really?
came out, and then I was super confident in that time, and I felt good. I wasn't out of breath. They gave me some water. I just washed the salt water taste out of my mouth, spit it out, went did the second loop, came out. Really good time. PR'd I think my 4400 ever, and it was on race day. And
Yay. What was your time? What was your time?
I think I came out. Obviously, my watching the race is a little bit different. I think I came out an hour 20, so 205 per 100 meters, which is 150 per 100 yards,
Yeah. That's
around
awesome.
there. And that's probably my best swim ever. And
Yes.
then we transitioned, and obviously, I'm super excited now because you don't win the race in the swim, but you can lose the race mentally in the swim if you
Yeah.
don't hit the time that you want.
Yeah.
So then, super excited going into transition, see my family. Also, it's not even just your family cheering you on. Everyone that's around the water is cheering you on.
Right.
And then it's kind of like you're just checking that box off for the day. Okay, the swim is done. I only have two more activities left to do.
Right. Yeah. And so you got on the bike, and of course, it's a long 112 miles. How did you
Yeah.
break that up? How did you handle the bike?
So going out to headwind, and then so I'm splitting this into two. Once I get to my halfway bag, it's like okay, now I just have 56 more miles. So I don't try to look at it as 112. You go 56, 56, and then when you're at 100, the last full miles just feels like nothing.
Right.
So that was good. And then I did have an issue on my first half. My chain slipped switching from the big ring to the small ring.
Mhm.
And then so I had to get off my bike really quick, put it back on, and it only cost me like 30 seconds. But then the whole time I'm thinking about that. So I didn't even switch rings at that point.
You weren't, oh, not big to small. Yeah, you don't need to, but there is a technique where you can actually get it back on if you don't jam it. So I'll have to show you that technique next time so you don't have
Yeah.
to get off your bike if that
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, the chain completely came off and I was like, oh my God. And then this had happened to me in the past, but we got it done.
Yeah, way to keep your cool and get the job done. So did you stop at halfway and like take a break or anything like that or no?
I stopped halfway to use the restroom. I made it really fast though, because I had to use the bathroom. But before you get to halfway, there's like single porta potties, and you can kind of tell how many people are waiting.
Yeah, you don't want to get in that line.
And you don't
No.
want to get in the line. You kind of want to wait till 56 if you can, where there's like 7 or 8 porta potties, and turnover's way faster.
Yeah.
I got my halfway bag. I think I just had candy in it just to like switch up nutrition a bit.
Yeah.
So then I get that, and then I had first half some headwind, and the second half is just full tailwind. So I just tried to at least pick it up to where I
Yeah.
could still keep my heart rate in zone two, which is what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
And then second half went really well. There's are some long stretches that you see people turning, but
Yeah.
you don't know at what point they're turning. So you think you're close to the turn to go back, but it's like 20 miles away.
You
And
see that, yeah, you see the people returning, but the turnaround
yeah,
is still really, really far. Yeah.
yeah, and then big thing for me was stopping at every aid, not stopping, but riding through aid stations, grabbing water, putting some water at least into my stomach to switch it
Break it.
from straight nutrition that was like carbs mix and gels, wash it
Yeah.
down with some water, throw the water bottle away, maybe take a smaller gel like a 20 Martin
Hmm.
instead of having to do a 40.
Right.
And then it just felt good. And then as you're on that second half, it's just flying. Time is flying the whole time
That's awesome.
because you're just like, okay, once I get to like 90, I knew I was like, I only had 1 hour left because that's like typically around my pace. When I
Right.
was at 90, it was just an hour left. And then you finish on the beach, which is really nice. And then you have so many people waiting for you in T3. And
Yeah.
it's just
Exciting.
super exciting. The whole race is just super exciting. So many people supporting you and cheering you on. It doesn't feel like it's just you. It
Yeah.
feels
No,
like
of
you have
course.
like the
I mean,
whole
it's an
board.
individual sport, but having those crowds there is amazing. And also,
Yeah.
you had four other teammates or three other teammates there racing, right? And then
Yeah.
Adriana was there with your fiance as well, so that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. It was
Okay,
super fun. Yeah, my whole
yeah,
family was there. And
yeah.
then we got off that bike and we go into T3 and then I knew that you guys know all I have is a marathon left. And then you just go lap by lap.
I want to caveat that right there because can you imagine what you just said? You just said, I only have a marathon left, right?
Yeah.
So can you imagine saying that when you first did Clash? Like, was that
No,
like, oh my God, I have to do this distance for the swim, this distance for the bike, and then a marathon at the end? Where you like, oh my gosh. And then now it's like, oh yeah, I only have a marathon at the end. Isn't that crazy how your mind shifts around the confidence you have about your training?
yeah, yeah. At first, the 3 miles, I was dreading the 3 miles. I'm like, when is this gonna be done? I'm like,
And now you're like, oh, it's just a marathon. No
yeah, it's just a
problem.
marathon. It
Yeah, I
was,
got this. Yeah,
and then
that's
the
what
fact that
happens
it's
when you
loops
have good
helped.
training. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's awesome. Okay, so the run went like pretty much like clockwork, right?
Yeah, so I get off. Maybe came out a little bit too fast, but I don't know. You're jacked up off of it. You're finally off this bike and your legs are spinning, so you feel good when you're running.
Yeah,
And then I'm taking in this nutrition. Nutrition went well, and then it's lap based. So all you got to think is I just got to get this first lap. Once I finish this first 13.1, I just have one more lap left, and I'm going to the finish line.
you got
And
it.
yeah, I didn't cramp at all during the run. I was covered in salt rings because I had so much sodium and it's super like I guess it's cold at the time in Panama City Beach, so it's just
Right.
drying on you.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
hat looked I dipped it, it looked like I dyed it white. And it was fun. It was fun. I guess the run's probably where I had a lot of enjoyment because you're also talking to people. There's people that are running the same pace as you, and then some people you'll be running and then you hear footsteps right behind you, and people like running with you, like they're like kind of using you to I guess draft or whatever.
Draft. Yeah, yeah.
Or like,
Drafting.
oh, this
Right.
guy's running a good pace. Let me just run with him. And then you start talking. You kind of make friends on the course.
That's awesome.
It's fun. And then when you finish that first loop, it's the best feeling in the world because you know as soon as when you come that second time that you're coming back, you're running towards the finish line,
Right.
and it feels good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you crossed the finish line. How did that feel, that last mile? When you were you sprinting? Did you pick it up?
Oh, my legs were not made for sprinting at that point. My legs were dead. I was just telling myself this is how fast my legs are gonna move. And
Okay.
then I knew once I got off the bike that I was gonna go sub 13. Once I finished that first loop, I knew sub 13 was happening. And then obviously you have those little thoughts in your head, like if I go a little bit faster, I could go 12:30. And then my legs were telling me no. Um,
Right.
so then I'm coming down that last mile, and then I thought I was gonna cry. I had no more water in my body. It was all salt. So then
Oh, you were gonna cry, but you
yeah,
couldn't. There's no
yeah,
more
no,
water.
the
Oh,
volunteers are cheering you on, and then you go, and then you see that bell, and you see the videos. When I was training, at least, you see all these videos of people finishing Ironmans and ringing that bell, and then I got to ring that bell. I rung it so loud. I rung that thing like 10 times, and then I go and I finish, and then they tell you, and then I guess for me, it was really good because I was like kind of by myself at the finish line.
Mhm.
So it's not like they're saying multiple names. So it's
That's
just
great.
like it's
You
just
had the
my
whole thing to
name.
yourself. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then they hit you with the 4 words, you are an Iron Man, and it's just like the best feeling ever. And then you finish, they put the medal on you, they give you the hat, they give you the hoodie. You put it on immediately, you take your picture with it on. It's amazing. It was a great feeling. There's no way to describe it unless you do it.
Yep, you're right. No other place like an Ironman finish line. That's
Yeah.
so awesome. Well, Gio, I can feel your joy and the enjoyment you had during that epic adventure. And what was your final time?
I went 12:45.
Very, very cool.
It's
Yay. Yeah. So
pretty
sub
good.
13 was the ultimate goal. I know you were hoping for 12:30, but I feel like, it's your first one. Who knows? Will there be another one?
Not next year. Let's see. Let's see. It would definitely not be Florida again. I'd probably want to switch it up, but also like play to my strengths.
Yes. So what do you feel like your strengths? Well, now that I mean, you can't say that you don't know how to swim, bike, or run anymore, but of the three, what do you feel like your strength is?
Um, as far as my strengths, I feel like I'm pretty good at the whole swimming and biking. Obviously, I'd take a year off, maybe build more of an aerobic base for running to come off that bike and run a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Pick a race that plays to my strengths, maybe like some downriver flat bike, and then hopefully a flat run. I don't know what races in America have that besides Florida, but not Florida. Well,
There's a bunch
Florida's
of
not a downriver, but Florida everything has everything else.
Yeah, there's some like I know Oregon has a really fast swim, but that's a 70.3. But my philosophy is if you want to
Yeah.
get faster, you got to race short.
Yeah.
Race sprints, Olympics, and even eventually a half Ironman. But if you race a lot of sprints and Olympics and you get really, really fast, you will be able to transfer that speed over to the 70.3 and then the Ironman. And you're 25. So I
Yeah.
just want to really encourage you as a 25-year-old, if you start focusing only on long distance, you will never reach your full potential at your speed
Yeah.
because as we age, we lose, our VO2 max, we're not able to improve it at a certain point, especially after the age of 30. So my advice to you is to try to get as fast as you can in your swim, bike, and run now between the ages of 25 and 30, so that if you are going to be continuing in the sport, when you go longer, you already have that speed advantage. I feel like that's the biggest mistake that most triathletes make is they go long way too soon and they wonder why they're not able to get fast. Make sense?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Well, I'm so honored that you chose, of course, Full Circle Coaching. It's been an amazing journey, and the whole Full Circle tribe is so proud of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So anything else you want to share?
If you're looking into doing this and you're my age, definitely go with Erin. Because she's got the people on her team to help you. If you're struggling with the bike, she has Coach Dennis, which is probably one of the best bike fitters,
Yeah.
bike coaches in the state of Florida. Swimming, she's got you with swimming, and she's got you with running too. And obviously, being local, and if you're local, try to go to all the group sessions that you can, because it helps a lot.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. Training alone can be you have to do it sometimes, but if you don't have to and you get to train with other people on the same goal, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it makes the whole journey so much more enjoyable. Those lone wolf athletes, they don't know what they're missing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes.
also, why don't you talk about the camaraderie between you and the other guys? So Carlos and Eddie, I'm going live with them on Wednesday, but like you guys weren't friends before, and now
Yeah, we weren't friends before, and then now we kind of talk every day.
that's
So
awesome. I
about what
love
races
it.
we're doing, all that stuff. We'll
That's
catch
so
runs
great.
together. Obviously, different pace, but obviously, just running, meeting up, and then ending at the same spot's still fun.
Yeah, exactly. And those are lifelong friendships that you'll always have, right?
Yeah,
All right, Gio. Well, thanks so much for sharing your journey with us. We're super proud of you. Have an awesome day, you guys.
you
Take
too.
care.
Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Bye.